The Kia EV6 is a very hot competitor in that EV segment, and now there's an update, a facelift for the EV6. We're going to check out what's new and how good is it in general, also drive it on the German Autobahn, and also compare it a little bit to the recent Kia EV3, the smaller brother. Everything of that here with Thomas Nautogefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the Kia EV6. This is the GT line and it has a new restyled front with this facelift. I think pretty cool here, also in this gray color, which is appearing matte, but it's not a matte color. And you can see here the light signature is really interesting, super unique, and is also connected here in the middle and so on. If you hit the turning indicators, you also have this cascading turning indicator effect. And I think visually this works very well. Well, some don't like it, some love it. Tell me in the comments if you do that, and yeah, well, what do you think about this one? I think they really found a unique approach to the styling. You recognize this vehicle here on the road. The length is 4.70 m or 185 inches, so yeah, already like in this compared of the Model Y region. Wheels from 19 or 20 inch. These are the bigger 20-inch wheels. And as I said, the GT line also then here with black contrast. We can see it in the lower part, also black mirror caps and so on. They now have an updated frequency selective damper suspension. So this will be somewhat adaptive, but in a passive way. Won't change with the driving modes, but it will adapt to the road surface. That's very interesting. And they have also increased the battery capacity a little bit. The usable number like by 8.5%. So they actually try to squeeze out more of this vehicle here. Also the rear motor is more dampened towards the interior. So this is supposed to bring you some advantages as for the sound deadening. We have a rear-wheel drive model or an all-wheel drive model. This one here is the all-wheel drive model. Then the acceleration figure is at 5.3 seconds. The GT version would be at 3.5 seconds, like the other way around. But of course more expensive. This one a more realistic model, but already in a higher trim. Later more about the prices. Also restyled rear here, and pretty cool here with the light strip that goes all the way across. I really love it. And when you hit the turning indicators here, like this area, which is yeah, almost really subtle more in a way, but it's a cool structure. This one then becomes the turning indicator. That looks also pretty cool. About the batteries, so now the small battery at 63 kilowatt hours and the bigger battery at 84 kilowatt hours. And later on we'll also do an extended driving test and see what efficiency and real-world range we can actually score today. But definitely that brought only advantages here with the facelift. As for the charging, this is a special thing about the EV6. And also if you compare the EV3, because this one here has the 800-volt architecture, 11 kilowatt AC, and then here 195 kilowatt DC peak for the small battery, 258 kilowatt DC peak even for the big battery. The peaks are also higher now for both batteries, and 18 minutes from 10 to 80% state of charge is the best charging time. And that's of course really impressive and kind of rare in that segment and better than most of the competitors. Cool thing about this charging flap is, by the way, I can close it here. It's like one option and feels like really good quality, but it also automatically closes like when it's open. And then I sit down, start the vehicle and put in the gear, it also automatically closes, so you cannot forget it to close it. That's something they really thought about. Just to give you a visual proof, so here now I will turn this gear selector to D, just to the right, and then when Leah now switches to the left, then you can see, there we go, and it closes. It's really nice. Really interesting, by the way, with the indicators or hazard lights. Look at that. When I activate the hazard lights, it looks cool in the front, yes, but it's not cascading. So when you have both sides. But when I not use the hazard lights, but the real indicators, then you have the cascading effect right here. That is really interesting, right? And actually, it's the same for the rear. So yeah, thank you, Leah, for doing all the walking work. So now when I hit the hazard lights, there we go. It looks spectacular already like that, but not cascading. But then when I use a single turning indicator, then again it is cascading also in the rear. Top speed, by the way, here for this version is about 190 kilometers an hour or about 120 miles per hour. Yeah, sufficient for the German Autobahn. Some like it faster. In most situations it will be enough. Does it have a frunk? Oh, there's like a nice cover here. We can open this one. And yeah, oh, it's tiny, but there is one actually. For a charging cable, I mean for a small charging cable, it open? Not sure what's meant by that. Open, like this small thing here. I don't know. If someone of you knows it, maybe like here's another open. Yeah, that's meant by open. Yeah, so there you can see the electric equipment. Like always, by the way, when you see the orange cables, if you don't know yet, orange cables always means high voltage. We also see that in plug-in hybrids and so on. So yeah, I haven't discovered that myself yet. So you always push me to discover more new things. This is the car key, closing and opening. It's right here. Then also here the door handles come towards you, otherwise flush. There's also now a new digital key available, and you can also remotely, take the car out of a parking lot or something. It's possible. Then door closing sounds, really solid like that. Wow, that's perfect. So great door closing sound indeed. Then interior, as I said, a GT line. So here it is somewhat soft, between hard and soft, I would say, but everything nicely covered. Only hard plastic is in the below, but that's fine. Then here fabric at the inside also, and nice classic controls here also for the side mirrors and so on. And here you have memory seats. New steering wheel with this facelift, also with capacitive recognition. If you are still here for the level 2 assistance systems, completely animal-free interior, drive mode selector, here a dual tone scheme, and real buttons also here, like to scroll, for the cruise control. And when you press and hold the volume button, you deactivate this annoying speed limit chime and so on. Seats here, either fabric or leatherette, or here then the microfiber seats you get in the GT line. Also, once again, with this contrasting scheme, that also looks quite fancy. And let's take a seat. Take a seat, young Skywalker. And then here, yeah, it's actually very comfortable, and with 189, 6'2", some headroom left, and yeah, it's also long enough. That seat also works for tall adults. The cockpit is still somewhat futuristic, and I really like the cool materials they're using here. This it's like a surface you can really feel here in the GT line. Cool. And also here you can see where they play a little bit with this light strip there. That's pretty cool. And also a classic user interface in the way of here, I turn left and right and change the temperature. And yes, you have to point it out nowadays that something like this exists. You can switch it also here to like some other hotkeys in the middle. That's also possible. Other than that, you have rear and direct control. It is capacitive, yes, but it's still good to have separate control here for seat cooling, seat heating, steering wheel heating, also left and right, so I can individually rule it here for the right and the left passenger. So yeah, I mean, rear buttons is maybe better to control, but it's a nice integration, and at least you have this direct access to that. Start and stop here, and then here, right for the drive, left for reverse. That's also easily done. Inductive charging pad, not ventilated though. Adaptive cup holders, and a lot of space here underneath, for example, to store some cases, and really good build quality. Like when you see the seats, how plush them are, seating depth, and when you like rattle something left and right, everything feels really solid. In the front there we have USB-C chargers, right side charging only, left side you can choose between charging and connecting and charging, and a lot of space here in that middle console. And also the integration of the screens here, these two 12.3-inch screens, is actually quite nicely done inside the vehicle, so they're not too much in your face. Driver POV here, pretty cool, these buttons also for the volume and so on, nice to control. Then you have the digital instruments. You can also pick the different driving modes here with this mode button on the steering wheel below. Clear to read everything. You also get a head-up display, and well, the climate unit, that's definitely interesting. Again, just want to show it again here for warmer and colder and so on, and there you can switch again here between these hotkey stuff or the climate. Yeah, you can also go down with the vents. So it's an interesting idea for sure. The main infotainment unit could be quicker, honestly. What is actually important, so when you go to settings and then to EV, you can activate the battery conditioning, so that's actually important. other than that, it's also activated and pick a charging station and so on. And of course, always important because most of the time you would use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wired or wireless. Rear seats, yeah, first of all, this is rather hard than here in the top part, but at least here, this is also leatherette covering, this is nice. Also good integration of the door handle. And even here, a fabric on the inside of the rear door. So we see that here in this vehicle, but we don't see it in other German premium cars. So yeah, that's the thing. Here then, the seats, you can see I can adjust them right here in the angle, steeper or a little bit more laid back. Isofix at the outside each. On the front seat, there's no Isofix on the front seat, but just here outside rear seats. Then folding down this here, I can slide them back here. If the bottle would be a little bit smaller, I could do it like this, you know. So yeah, it's not adaptive in the sense of rubber lip, but interesting. Ski hatch. And then the seating comfort is really good here in the rear. The only thing you see here, this angle, so the seat bench is relatively low in comparison to the floor that's high. And that's a problem very often with the electric vehicles, that the floor is so high because the battery is underneath, that I'm more like, you know, like this. Yeah, it's still comfortable because the seating surface is good. A little bit more land backward. Headroom is also there. It's no problem. And legroom is absolutely fine. There's also a big difference to the EV3, which is a very smaller vehicle. Here you still have legroom, good for rear passengers. Yeah, but just again, this high floor with the electric vehicles is always somewhat a problem. You also have rear seat heating, by the way, just not to forget that here. So that's like the high trim. So also in 2 levels, that's good. And in the middle part, yeah, because you have the even floor, then you can even sit in the middle part. So this vehicle is 5 adult proof. Trunk or boot at 490 liters. There's this option that you can just stand here and it opens automatically, or you press the button. Then here the cover underneath the cabin trolley also directly fits here vertically, no problem at all. And the width here between the wheel arches is also 1.40 meters, and the length is also about 1.40 meters, and the total height here at about, yeah, a little bit less than 70 centimeters or 27 inches. Charging cable could be put in this box here. Here underneath is a little bit shallow, yeah, or you can also put that thing completely out, that you have even more trunk height. That would also be possible. To fold the seats, well, you have an easy unlock here, and also on the left side, there we go. That's of course really good. Folds flat, very practical, really, really nice. And the total length to the front seats here is about 1.85 meters or 73 inches. So very well usable. The only thing is that when you have this cover in place, then it's here, like here in this area, it's not too high. But as I said, you can always just take this whole thing out and maybe also this stuff here, and then you also have more height on demand. Sport mode. Woo! Almost top speed. Yeah, we reached some like 50 to 180 kilometers an hour, and that was really quick.
My ears are closed.
Yeah, Leah got pressure on her ears. That's really fun. I mean, 5.3 seconds is the official acceleration figure, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. For the all-wheel drive version here, only the true GT would be quicker, but that one is all like great acceleration. And I mean, not as much as the Leah meter would be triggered. I think, you know, yeah, but I mean, this has to be even more extreme nowadays, you know, after it has also been testing so like really extreme quick cars. But this one here, great in the power already, definitely. And next to top speed and performance, of course, you also have all the modern assistance systems. For example, here, setting the cruise control at the left side of the steering wheel, left thumb. Now the steering wheel here with hands-on detection as well. So let's see just if that works. I mean, you're supposed to keep your hands on the steering wheel here with these level 2 systems, but you see also just doing that for showcase purposes now, see how the car is being kept in the lane, although the road is going slightly right, so that makes a sophisticated impression. Now keep hands on steering wheel. That's it. That was enough, you know, like just so there you can see that really recognizes just like by touch capacitive, and that's actually a quite cool thing, definitely. And from the noise and so on, also if you think about the EV3,
A little bit here from the mirror.
The mirrors.
Maybe it's the
Yeah,
GT line.
the special mirror form.
Yeah.
Let's see, we drive a little bit quicker now again. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So, but I think it's still okay. It's not too annoying. I would say the wind noise pick up here at about 145 kilometers an hour. Everything below that, and I mean, in most countries, the motorway speeds are 100 to maximum 120, 130 kilometers an hour, something like that. There, I think it's silent enough, definitely. Only above that, it would be maybe like a German case. But I feel it's more silent than the EV3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's also like something where you pay more, and then it's a difference. So that's actually a good thing.
And suspension is better.
Yeah, and suspension is also better than with the Kia EV3. So here, these frequency adaptive dampers, they have been there before. However, they have been updated, so different tuning and so on, and you feel that, especially like in waves, there they do a very good job. If you have small potholes in the road, this is then more a thing of the 19 or 20-inch wheels. So here we have the 20-inch wheels, and when the road gets really, really rough, you do feel that. And yeah, it's not that cool, honestly. So I would actually advise to stick with the 19-inch wheels. Yes, the bigger wheels always look greater, but for efficiency reasons and riding comfort, the smaller wheels are better. So yeah, that's my assessment here for today. But it's still, good comfort since the seats are also nice and so on. And you can also take this one here for longer motorway trips. And if you set cruise control 120, 110, 130 kilometers an hour, it will also still be okay as for the efficiency and the range. Yeah, the thing is, like, when you really max it out, floor it out, that's the thing with all the electric vehicles. Of course, the consumption goes exponentially up then as well. Just a matter of wind resistance. Also nice here to do some lane change. See also with the steering setup here in the sport mode versus the normal mode. I can press it here on the steering wheel. Oh yeah, that's interesting. So I would say that the steering feel could be better because it feels a little bit artificial. You don't have the most natural feeling for the vehicle as for how the steering behaves, because like here you can move it, then you have some kind of resistance here, and then suddenly it gets loose and whoa, what am I doing? So it kind of leads you to not driving that smooth, you know what I mean? So that could be better tuned, I feel. But in the sport mode, the resistance is earlier, so in that case it's probably a little bit better. Maybe now heard it on camera, like just boom, boom. Like when we were going some transverse bumps, then of course the 20-inch wheels also play a role. And now also interesting, let's go into this S combination. That's always a lot of fun right here. Into the corners. Now, of course, you also feel the weight of the electric vehicle. That's always the case. Recently had it with all the EV reviews. Wow, how it goes out of just slightly on the throttle and whew. Yeah, I mean, we could easily catch up with this Porsche Macan S here in front of us.
Nice color.
Yeah, it's a nice color as well. Wait a minute, we have the same color, right? Yeah, Leah really likes these gray colors, which appear to be matte-ish, but not are really matte. Sometimes they are unicolors. In this case, it looks unicolor, but it's still a metallic paint. It's wolf gray metallic. Oh, now the Macan S is hitting that. But yeah, we can also hit that, and this one is a really quick vehicle, and then we can also easily outscore this Macan S. Yeah, and there we go. And 160, 170, yeah. You're so quick with this one, so extremely quick. Brake feeling is actually also nice, also this brake blending. And there's also different recuperation modes available. So you can actually here, when you hit the right pedal, drive with level 0. Then you are just rolling. Ha. When you start up the vehicle again, however, it resets it to level 1. And that one also then stays when you are on level 1. It's the same at the startup, but also level 2 and 3 is also being kept and so on. And you can make it stronger and stronger. So left pedal then, I can do level 2, level 3, or then max plus I pedal. And this is then the difference with the I pedal. It really comes to a full stop for a real one pedal driving feeling. And then you have to press the accelerator pedal again to keep going. And yeah, that's actually good that you have these choices. So me personally, I prefer like a slight recuperation. I'm used to, I grew up driving the cars and hitting the brakes and so on. And you also do the same recuperation with the brake pedal before the real brakes are being applied. So it doesn't really matter for efficiency here for this vehicle. You remember, only for the Teslas it makes a difference, because when you hit the brake in the Teslas, they apply the rear brakes. But here with all the other EVs, first they use the recuperation and then the real brakes are being applied there. So it does it very well here on the motorway. The only thing I would really wish for is maybe like here this seems to be like almost stuck, that steering then in this case, right? Let's see if deactivating the lane keeping assist is a little bit better. But overall, the natural steering feeling could be enhanced, so to speak. Then we'll also soon take another more agile bend here. Lane change is also fun again. Overall the fun factor is still there. Feels nice and agile, and considering it has a big battery and a lot of weight, I feel that it still feels agile. As a passenger, how do you feel? It's good. It's good. Yeah, that's always a good sign, because in some vehicles Leah gets sick, and here is obviously fine. So that also speaks for the vehicle. Overall, also how you sit in this vehicle, everything, it feels smaller than it actually is. It's 4 meters 70, 185 inches. It's not not a short vehicle, but it feels smaller actually. So and initially, if we compared the Kia EV3, this one still delivers you more, especially if you go more long journeys. Also, if you need the fast charging and so on, then again you have to think about if the extra price is justified in that way for you. If you think, hey, like the main thing I want to have is driving an electric vehicle. So now we go into this S combination. We have dry road, good grip, and let's see about that. The steering feeling, again, not my favorite, but here on the corner, pushing it in, nice. Really balanced feeling of the vehicle now, and when you accelerate out, woo! It's really nice, so much fun. Really, really great. Love that. So, very likable driving feeling. That's pretty cool. And I would say in the driving feeling, like how the car behaves and the suspension, that one I would also say it's better than the Tesla Model Y, because the Model Y is just so much rougher than in this case. However, I told you with the facelift, they've updated the suspension at Tesla and also the wheels, so soon looking forward to how that one has changed now. And of course, we'll also keep you updated with all the changes there. Towing has been upgraded as well, by the way, now at 1.8 tons, so a little bit more here for the all-wheel drive version. Then about the efficiency and real-world range. If we drive motorway 100, 110 kilometers an hour, maybe sometimes 120, and even here in low temperatures, you can score some 21 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers, so some 3 miles per kilowatt hour. It's not bad. There are some competitors like the Tesla Model Y again, which is more efficient. This one also in our test a little bit more efficient than the Kia EV3, which we had at like 23 kilowatt hours. Then again there it was maybe like 1-2 degrees colder. So they are more or less comparable. This one, as far as my tasting goes, a little bit more efficient. So the real world range here in winter temperatures about 400 kilometers or 250 miles with the big battery version here. In summertime, of course, you can score even better range figures, and also when we have city traffic only, it will be a couple of kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, also less than if we predominantly go on the motorway and so on. Pricing, it starts here at 45,000 euros, taking German reference prices. And if you go for all-wheel drive and also like a higher trim and so on, you also get to like 56,000 euros. And with the GT line, then more 61,000 euros. Already quite pricey. But for example, in Germany, they recently also had some nice leasing offers, at least for like mid-trim versions and so on. So it always depends also on the leasing rates if you buy new, of course. And if you want to compare the EV3, by the way, that one in a comparable trim, not the highest one, because it doesn't have like all the equipment, is at least 10, sometimes 15,000 euros cheaper. And if you say, hey, I want to save some money, I don't care if it's a little bit smaller, you can now also check out the EV3 or the recent Model Y facelift if you go same size.